Alongside me once again, Mickey Austin, Director of Netball at the UK Super League side, Surrey Storm, Scotland's team, Mickey.
Yeah, obviously knowing quite a few of these pretty well, as the majority of them have competed in the Super League for Scotland. So looking forward to seeing their defensive combination gel together, because they are tough and rugged inside that circle.
Well, I've talked potentially about a physical game, this one, and here's Samoa, Coach Francis Salia. This is her starting 7.
Yeah, exactly. Their captain, Francis Salia Gibb, inside that goal defence position. I'm sure she'll be looking to stamp her authority on this World Cup, along with that partnership of Rachel Rasmussen in that goalkeeper position, trying to defend the goal for Samoa.
So you can see right in the centre of your shot, just before we came off for the high fives and the palm slapping of Samoa, the Scottish fans are in town. They've travelled south from Scotland to the north of England. The Scottish Thistles. They've played each other 3 times in World Cup history. Samoa have won 2 of those 3 encounters. And they're the fans, bit of fizzy pop, your national flag. There's not much better to watch world-class netball than with your friends, your family, and a bit of fizzy pop.
You said it. How great are both of these team kits, by the way? So vibrant, so representative of both of their countries, and absolutely loving it straight away.
So umpire-wise, Ansu Kemp from South Africa, umpire 2, Joan Janet Giuliani of Singapore. And the first centre pass of Scotland and Samoa.
Speed straight away from Scotland to hit their circle edge, and I think that's going to be an absolute trademark of them. Lindsay Gallagher was really underrated in the Super League this year. Super speed, really creative, protects her space well for someone who is on the smaller side, although I can't say that because we're probably the same height in general. Oh, and flair and confidence right from early on to use the post and send the ball off of it, to ground her feet on the court first and net her first goal. She'll be feeling better after that.
Oh, a massive collision with the 10-foot post.
I'm sure I said something earlier about them being a little bit dogged inside their defending circle.
Mickey Austin grabbed me in anticipation. 3 netball players, world class, smashing into the post. Samoa's drawn level. It is electric here in the arena. The noise being created by the 4 sets of fans on both of these courts. Uganda, England, Scotland and Samoa. It's brilliant stuff.
It's almost like the Zimbabwe fans are back in the building from the party that they started earlier on. How great was that to see? And I mean, I said this as soon as I walked into the arena yesterday, the fans are going to lose their head because it looked absolutely amazing in here.
Every now and again, we'll pick up the words being spoken. Some mics by both of the umpires. So not really flowing yet, Mickey. A lot of whistle, a lot of talking tos.
Yeah, a little bit scrappy, some argy-bargy, some contests going on all across the court, and if that's a sign to see for what's to come in terms of the netball across the next 60 minutes, then I think we are in for a right tussle. You see Hayley Morhan there in the back of the shooter, making her presence felt, jumping in on the shot there. But a lovely smooth shot from Tanimo in that goal shooter position, talking to her team nice and early, and I think it's absolutely clear that Samoa are right up for this contest.
The goal shooter for Samoa, a relative of the former Silver Fern, Linda Vagana. And her uncle, if you're into your movies, is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Please tell me he is somewhere in this arena, and if he is, cap him off. I'm leaving you, I'm going to find him. What great family genes, but we've seen that across the court of Samoa, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Samoa then have the edge, 2 goals to 1. Under 13 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Gallagher trying to get it into the hands of McCleary.
Trademark speed, give and go all the way through the court. Claire Maxwell fighting for position on that circle edge, excuse me. And again, we see the skill from Lindsay Gallagher inside the circle, letting the ball roll. Well, not roll, because the ball actually can't roll across the floor in netball. See it trickle slightly with a slight bounce in it. Saw a little bit of afters there inside the circle from Bethan Goodwin and the goalkeeper in Rachel Rasmussen. So Bethan will have to figure out a way to use her change of direction, just like she did on that last play. She cannot be in a body-on-body contest with Rachel Rasmussen, because if she tries it, I'm telling you now, she's going to lose. So it's going to be about her ability to get on the move, use her space well, prep nice and early to get that change of direction.
Obstruction, goal defence.
So Tanimo, here she is, in the goal shooter position. Popping one in for Samoa. A lot of Rasmussen representation in the Samoa side, of course.
Yeah, there is. Rachel Rasmussen, who we see playing at goalkeeper currently for the Samoan team. Her sister is probably going to be more familiar with the international netball fans across the world, is actually Grace Cara Nee Rasmussen, who is a silver fern herself. She played 63 test caps for New Zealand, so really great family pedigree all across the court. Contest early. It's going to be one of those games, I can feel it in my waters. And I think that was a contest there from the goal attack in Anne Helen. And she is also the sister of the goalkeeper in Rachel Rasmussen. Are you keeping up with all of the family ties?
Yes.
We have more to go through, so, I mean, bear with me.
She's got marriage, so she's a little bit more distinguishable now. This is a good start. It's fast, it's feisty. And Nikki Austin said, this is what we expect from Scotland and Samoa. Two teams buoyed by those recent world rankings we showed you at the top of the programme.
You can see Claire Maxwell getting in and amongst it nice and early. She is one of those players that will put her body on the line for her team. So no surprise seeing her scrapping, trying to step in a little bit on the penalty, nudging. Great, almost interception there from Emily Nicol. Being able to step to her player to look to cover that shooter inside the shooting circle, but just a little bit of miscommunication between her and our goalkeeper. You can hear the taken call from the umpire there. That's a really important rule that maybe international players are still trying to get used to themselves. So what it actually means is if there's a penalty, but you haven't stopped and set it, and you take it, the umpire will shout taken, which means you don't actually get the ball back. It means that they deem that you have taken the penalty, even though you don't set it, and potentially the player who was infringing isn't standing by your side, but you don't get a second bite of the cherry. So you risk, like they just did there, Samoa, in their attacking end, missing and not getting the ball back. Sometimes it can cost you dearly. Great swing across the top of the circle from Nicola McCleary. So much speed inside that wing attack position. I'm looking forward to see how she develops in confidence over this next 60 minutes.
Well, indeed, a nice move. Started by the bouncing centre of Scotland, Claire Maxwell. Married Lee Brownie. International fans. Claire Brownie, well, her mum was a club coach, introduced her to the sport. And she's got 97 caps before this match, Claire Brownie, for Scotland. So this is 98, so she'll make 100 here at the Netball World Cup for the centre for Scotland.
She will, and Hayley Mulhern in that goalkeeper position is getting 115th cap today. So congratulations for her on that little bit of a milestone. She is their most capped player, and the 9th most capped player in this tournament, I think.
She is indeed. So, good experience for Scotland. They're leading by 4 goals to 3, under 9 minutes remaining. In the centre third, Gallagher looking for space, having to go back a little back with Maxwell, McCleary. Oh my gosh. Dear me.
You put your hand to your mouth there. He wasn't quite sure what was going to happen. It was like we was going to see the contest in a Northern Ireland Australia game all over again, and great to hear through the grapevine that Carolina Hanlon is feeling okay, but that was Frances Salia-Gibb putting her body on the line to play on that swing outside the circle. I wonder whether her coach and another relative of hers will be happy with that. We're hearing that the captain in Salia-Gibb is the sister of Coach Frances Salia. Can you keep up with me again, Carol?
All I'm thinking is that Claire Maxwell, the centre for Scotland, didn't even bat an eyelid when she was hit in the face, hard as nails.
She didn't, although she did swing her a look out of the corner of her eye. So I'm sure that is a battle that we're going to want to pay close attention to as it grows throughout the game.
So good play this by Scotland. Maxwell in possession, looking to get it into the hands of Beth Goodwin. We'll go back though to Gallagher in the goal attack position. And Scotland now look to take a 2-goal advantage in this first quarter, and they do. 5 leading 3. qualified for this World Cup by winning the European regional qualifiers in January last year. And Samoa obviously won the Oceania regional qualifiers in Auckland last year as well.
Unbelievable feed on court from wing defence in Kelly Boyle there, excuse me. She is actually a wing attack, so unsurprising to me that she has got that vision and the sense of mind to catch the ball off of centre pass and sight circle straight away, feeding Lindsay Gallagher, who's driving in from outside circle. That's also great partnership with goal shooter Bethan Goodwin there. If Bethan Goodwin didn't drive outside of the circle, bring the goalkeeper with her, that space would not have been clear. So that's really, really, really good link-up play there. Good job from the Scottish Thistles. They'll be happy with that. And as we say that, they get a turnover and a chance to double up their goals.
So, two shooters at 100% still. Tanimo for Samoa and Goodwin for Scotland. But it's Scotland that had the 3-goal advantage. Oh no, she's not happy with that. Nicola McCleary.
It was a tough one because we see contest and all the time, and contest is when two players are going straight in, straight up, deemed to be giving as good as they get, if you like. But if there's one player that's deemed to be giving more, then they are going to get pulled with contact, and we saw that from Nicola McCleary there. She gave a slight elbow as she went in for the contact, but there are turnovers all over the place. You literally can't speak for more than 5 seconds before somebody's turned over the ball. It's a great job from Rachel Rasmussen there to get right in amongst it, run her feet really hard. And the trick is, if you're a defender, if you get an interception, play on really quickly. Don't stop, don't pause, do not wait for the umpire to get a chance to put their whistle to their mouth. Play on and go forward, because then the moment's gone and you're more likely to get away with the ball. And that's exactly what Rachel did there, so really good job to her. She'll be looking for her shooters to reward her hard work.
We are goal attack.
Well, 6-3's the lead, coming up to 5 minutes of this very fiery, lively first quarter between Scotland and Samoa. Scotland in their 14th World Cup. This just won in 2011 in Singapore, and it's the 8th World Cup for Samoa. Their first was in 1991 when they finished in 8th position. Oh no, she's not happy, is she?
It was a really cheeky pop pass there underneath the post from the Samoan goal attacking Otagawa, but unfortunately just deemed to be a goal shooter contact underneath the post. And clearly, because of the contest that we've seen in this game early on, the umpires are looking at it. They're looking for that contest. They're looking for the contact all over the court. So the players, have to adjust. They have to be able to listen to the whistle of the umpire and adjust their play accordingly. We are only in the first quarter. There is a long old time of this game still left to play, and you do not want to be caught being penalised from the umpire early doors.
So a lot of mid-court action in this first quarter between Scotland and Samoa. Some good defensive work by both of the teams. Have it still at Scotland leading by 3 goals, 6-3. And this first 15 minutes has absolutely flown by. Samoa, though, that are looking to get themselves in the position. Goal defence being penalised for Scotland. She'll stand by, Nicole.
It's because unfortunately she moved too early. So if you're out on a penalty and I haven't released the ball yet, you can't move and start interfering with play. And that's what the umpire deems to happen there. So it's going to be really, really important, clearly, that these players are adjusting, because the umpire's vision is all over the court.
So under 4 minutes remaining. It's still a 2-goal advantage. Goodwin rattles another one in for the Scottish side.
That's a great shot from Bethan Goodwin, but I don't know if you caught that there, and this is when we talk about the 1 percenters. After the shot, Rachel Rasmussen pulled that rebound in, and as she turned, she gave Lindsay Gallagher a little knock on the head with the ball. Off ball, away from umpire, but just showing the shooters, trying to get in their head, really trying to use every trick in the book to toy with them.
Well, and showing nerves of steel, though. Look at her.
Yeah, look, she grabs the rebound, gets the ball in her hands, pushes it straight into the back of Lindsay Gallagher's head, and as you can see by the look in her face, she was not having any of it. So much going on in this game.
Gallagher fully aware of what she's up against today. But 20-year-old Bethan Goodwin is putting in a good performance so far for Scotland. 4 from 4, 100%. The Scottish side lead by 4. Nice little 1-2 from me to you.
This is where Lindsay Gallagher's smarts, netball smarts come in. She sent the ball, caught it from Claire Brownie, but her landing foot was actually her front one, even though her legs were split really wide. So she took an extra second to give the ball back out to her circle edge to get it back so that her landing foot was the back one, therefore gaining her at least 3 or 4 foot closer to the post, making it a much more high percentage shot. In a game that's this edgy, this contacty, it's going to matter, and that is a fantastic passage of play from Samoa there. Much better understanding, much better court linkage between our shooters, and Nemo, ends up completely free underneath the post and a lovely change of direction.
Yes.
So coming up to 2 minutes remaining of the first 15 minutes. The ball gets rolled over and we're back underway. Nice little bounce pass once again into Goodwin. Contact called against the goal attack. So Gallagher will go back into position. And Samoa now on the charge. Got to take it down the court, take it through the 3/3.
Oh, great tip there from Bethan Goodwin. The only thing Samoa are missing for me is that link through the middle of the court. They'll be looking for their centre Williams to lift their work rate slightly. I know it's hard because they're competing against Claire Maxwell, but she's going to have to make sure that she is that link through the middle of the court. Have a look at the full court zone that Scotland are currently putting on. Them sitting off their players. Emily Nicol hunting all the way to the 2/3 line. Unfortunately, she missed the interception, which is why Samoa was able to transition that ball really quickly through the court. If you miss that one, you're going to be caught chasing, unfortunately.
So 9 leading 6, Scotland.
Goal defence, contact holding, in the goal.
Goal defence pulled up with less than 1 minute remaining in the first quarter. Both of these teams know they are in the Vitality Netball World Cup because it is as physical as we expected. Claire Maxwell waves her arms in the air in the centre position for Scotland. Her side have the 3-goal advantage.
This is a really important moment for Samoa, you know, clock counting down, 40 seconds to go. If they score this goal, going into the second quarter, the score margin will be within 2, which is absolutely nothing. It's 1 turnover, and in a game that's this edgy, you can guarantee there are going to be turnovers, there's going to be errors. So really, really important for the goal attack from Samoa there in Otaguava to be able to put her first shot on the board with 29 seconds to go in the first quarter. And they get another turnover. Are they time aware though? Talk about this in athletes all the time. Are you time aware? You have to make sure you're aware of every moment of the clock so that in moments like this, you know how quickly you need to transition the ball through. Just a simple footwork error there inside the circle, it looked like, from Claire Maxwell. And a contact call from Hayley Mohan, really trying to step across that front cut of the goal attack. Otaguava inside the shooting circle, but she's not time aware, and unfortunately she just runs out of time there and misses the last goal.
Well, a glance up at the clock by the Samoan goal attack. That's where the clocks are, that's where the screens are, and she'll look up and see that Scotland have a 2-goal advantage, 9 leading 7. The Scottish Thistles have started well, but so have Samoa. 3 more quarters to come, but Scotland lead. So welcome back to the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool. The Scottish side have a slim 2-goal advantage over Samoa on this opening day of the Netball World Cup. Group D, this is England, Uganda, Scotland and Samoa contesting Group D. And it's been a lively affair so far. Casting my eyes to our left, I can't see many changes, well, none it doesn't look like for Scotland, so we'll keep you up to speed if Samoa have any changes.
Yeah, you can see a new goal attack on the ball straight away. Intoa for Samoa, making an immediate impact with her give and go, entering that shooting circle nice and strongly. Almost certain it's the same goal shooter in Tanimo for that Samoan shooting circle as well. Great dodge on the baseline from Bethan Goodwin. As we said earlier, if she wants to get in a body-on-body contest with these Samoan defenders, she is probably going to lose because they are tough. So she's doing the absolute smart thing by getting on the move, exposing their speed or lack of, getting them on the move nice and early, getting their heads turning and using her change of direction through that baseline.
Offside.
So offside called.
Just inside. Just
So
inside.
the head coaches, Gail Parata for Scotland,
Yeah.
Francis Salia for
Goalkeeper
Samoa.
Armstrong.
Parata's been in charge 6 years now, appointed in February 2013, and the head coach, of course, of the UK Super League side, Strathclyde Sirens. That works well, because 11 of the squad here for Scotland play for Sirens. So she's got some good continuity, Gail Parata. And at the moment, her side have a 4-goal advantage at the early part of this second quarter.
She'll be familiar to these Pacific Island teams because she is actually a New Zealand Silver Fern herself. She is New Silver Fern number 115. She played one test for New Zealand in 1996. So I'm sure a familiar face to the Samoan players, or at least some of them who have got those cross-country ties. Oh, fantastic captaincy, scrapping work across the floor there from Salia Gibb. Although she's tall, she's showing her athleticism to be able to get down to the floor. And showing their speed to get through the court. That's much better linkage play to get on that circle edge, but you can see eyes not even to that shooting circle, so this is where their problem is. Their shooters are not finding any clear line to ball inside this shooting circle.
So Samoa being made to work here, even to get in with a chance of pulling one back. Maxwell happily letting the ball just roll off in the direction, as you would.
Well, I mean, I sympathise with her. Playing centre's tough, you know, for 60 minutes. You don't want to be chasing after the ball as well, not if it's not yours. Much better set up inside that circle there. You saw both shooters split, so one went forward to the right, one went back and to the left, so really toying with those Scottish defenders. And again, taking some instruction off camera from their bench to make sure that that was the right thing. Yeah, let's try and do that again, replicate it, take some confidence.
Clever work by Gallagher there, the goal attack for Scotland. Very clever. Claire Maxwell was running the clock down, had one option to roll it on the floor. And Gallagher backs up to get as close to the post as possible and puts another one in for the Scottish side.
Yeah, and that's trickier than you think, because you're not actually allowed to roll the ball. See how it's got a tiny bit of bounce in it. And that is really, really important. If it rolls, it is a null and void pass. Oh, and just as we say that, another offensive contact from the umpire there. So you saw, as the Samoan attacker got the ball, she turned, but she almost pushed the ball into the, I didn't see it was Scottish defender's body, and you're not allowed to do that. If you move the ball in an unnatural motion, it's deemed as contact. So really, really smart of the umpires. Again, their hawk eyes are all over this contest that's going on across the court.
Wing defence, outside.
Well, Hawkeye is in the visions of the umpire, of course. It's what they see that matters. There's no VAR and all this kind of stuff in other sports going on in netball. We love it. It's fast and furious. And it is what it is. And at the moment, Scotland have a 6-goal advantage with 11 minutes remaining until half-time. Again, important for Samoa to keep in this one, just like it was in the first Court 2 game earlier, Mickey Austin, in terms of what we've just seen with Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, really pivotal moment in the game for Samoa here, and we said this earlier at the start of that second quarter, coming out after you've had some instruction from your coaches. Have you got the ability to adapt and learn? Great defensive pressure there from the Samoan defenders. You saw Salia Gibb cover the drive of the goal attack outside the circle to make that pocket of space look open to Bethan Goodwin inside the circle, and Rachel Rasmussen's footwork to get around the back and come out a clean ball. That's really impressive, because that's super hard to do, and they've earned that. They have to score off it. It's 5-2 in this quarter. They have to make sure that they reward their defenders' hard work. Lovely vision and long ball into the circle. Beautiful strength from the goal shooter in Tanimo for Samoa. And she finishes with their centre pass next, with an opportunity to take this quarter score back within 1.
So Scotland centre pass, Samoa centre pass, excuse me. Speed being shown now by Samoa, settling in, but a throwaway pass. A little glance of an apology sent the way of Tanimo, their teammates. Sorry about that one. But Samoa are in charge. Good defence, though, so far. Good defence from Scotland, making Samoa work for anything that they're going to try and get.
Yeah, absolutely. Emily Nicol and Hayley Mulhern inside that circle have worked really tirelessly. At times, Samoa have struggled to find their shooter. They've had to be really patient. And you see there, they're happy to scrap, they're happy to lean over, touch the post if that happens to be a knock-on effect of them trying to win the ball. You know, all of these little extras are really important. And now we see the pressure get to Scotland. All of a sudden, the quarter score's gone from being 5-1, and now Samoa have an opportunity to level the score up. This is really positive signs for Samoa.
So head coach, Frances Salia, talking about playing for New Zealand. She did, of course. And she did captain Samoa as well up until 2011, before she retired some 6 years ago. So she'll be enjoying, as Mickey said, this little passage of play that the world number 14s are showing. Now 5 apiece, there she is.
Yeah, she's made a really, really smart coaching change here to bring on Teo inside that attacking circle. You see there, the absolute flair, the bench go wild, they love it. Long ball inside the circle from Nualiatia. Great vision over the back to a drive in Teo, and then the quick offload inside the circle to Tanimo. That was a great team goal, and Samoa have to lift from that. Great rebound from Bethan Goodwin. Rachel Rasmussen having a laugh to her other defender inside that circle. Where was you? I thought it was you. You thought it was me. Miscommunication.
An important goal as well. Was it to miss, it would be Samoa's centre pass, which it is now. And they'd be playing to draw level, but it's 15-13 with that one netted for Scotland. Williams, the centre for Samoa. Bullet pass in.
Unbelievable screen off the ball there. I don't know if you saw, but Teo went to pin the defender who was rolling around with the shooter, so she didn't actually have her vision to see her. And then she opened out and created that pocket of space right by the post, and she was found by the vision of the wing attack in Nualiatia. Great vision to post there. And playing with that Samoan flair is so important. Maybe we didn't see that in that first quarter because of the nerves, but I mean, come on ladies, you've got to score.
Well, you can see the Samoa bench behind on that tight shot here. It's like, come on now, let's bring it back to 1 against Scotland, and they have.
The Scottish fans were not happy with the amount of opportunities. You see that great screen to the top of the circle, holding Hayley Mulhern nice and high, and then turning to open out her body to use that pocket of space that's right by the post.
So Maxwell being forced back, but now into the hands of the goal shooter for Scotland. And Goodwin, obstruction called.
Bethan Goodwin and Rachel Rasmussen are having the tussle of the tournament underneath this post. There are elbows flying left, right and centre. There's tempting on the shot, jumping in, all sorts going on after the goal's even been scored.
And Rasmussen's 35 and Goodwin's 20.
Yeah, I mean, Rachel Rasmussen has been around the block a fair few times. She clearly knows how to get into the head of shooters, you know, and she's no joke. She's played over in New Zealand. She's a seasoned campaigner. I've seen her compete for the Northern Mystics for a few years. So, you know, she would be used to this pressurised environment of playing international standard netball before.
And Goodwin is standing up to the process. Oh, she throws it away. It lands into the hands of the wing defence for Samoa.
And that's unlucky. You see, she tried her hardest to go all the way around the outside of that circle. Unfortunately, if you don't have a G on your bib, you cannot go inside the circle. And Rapati there is definitely, as a wing defence, not allowed to infringe and put her toe across that circle line. So trying her hardest, but just not to be this time. We see Lindsay Gallagher again exposing that baseline drive of Samoa. Again, using her speed and not the body. You cannot get into a fight with these Samoan defenders.
Smart move by Gallagher. She's only missed one so far, shooting at 90%. She's netted 9 for the Scottish Thistles. So maturity being shown by some of the Scottish players. Samoa showing tenacity already. Remember, Scotland had a 2-goal lead after the first 15 minutes. High numbers on the penalty contacts, though, Mickey Austin, and potentially in the general play turnovers as well.
Yeah, exactly. We can see a penalty count of 22 to Scotland and 16 to Samoa. That'll probably surprise Scotland, to be fair. I think they feel that they're on the back end or receiving end for some really tough contact, but definitely not the way that the umpires are seeing it for the most part. Similar possession changes. Similar general turnover play at 11 apiece, so both teams scrapping, both teams making errors. Yeah, Yeah, look, we see the body work going on between Nicol. Scotland now happy to just plug away and craft the ball to the circle edge, try and take the sting out of the game and the steam out of the game. As we say that, we get a miss underneath the post, but luckily there's a contact call deemed by umpire Kemp. So Scotland will get a chance to get the ball back and they score.
And Lindsay Gallagher delivers in the goal attack position. So Samoa on the centre pass, under 5 minutes remaining until half-time. Scotland have the 4-goal advantage. Remember, the 3 times they've played each other in the World Cup previously. It's Samoa that has won 2 of them. But both these teams rising in the world rankings.
And Nawali Taia is using every second of her 3 seconds there to try and find an option. Nothing coming forward for her. She had to go back up and across court on one leg. So really, really good to execute that skill and eventually score a goal.
Taylor Cleary gets it into the circle to Gallagher. Double fake, in it goes. Scottish fans courtside behind both the benches of Scotland and Samoa enjoying that one. The Samoan officials holding up the iPad with the big clock that says 3 minutes 24 to go. Oh, and the Samoan bench put their head in their hands.
Yeah, that was one of those moments that you just have to take your hat off to some fantastic defensive work there. Emily Nicol flying onto ball, but having the sense of mind to be able to chase it and deliver it back to her teammate who was there ready and waiting for the catch. So Scotland will be really, really happy with that. They'll take some confidence from that and hopefully they'll be able to kick on and score at the other end.
So Scotland under 3 minutes until half-time, leading the way 21-16.
See Claire Brownlee, or Maxwell, sorry, having to send the ball all the way back to the transverse line. Happy to reset the ball, keep possession, make high percentage choices so that they find a nice, easy route into goal. And hopefully shooters can catch ball nice and cleanly. And just as you say that, Bethan Goodwin showing a little bit of flair there under the post to be able to catch ball under pressure, under contest, falling out of court, no bother. She's able to finish and release so that ball goes through the net before she gets out of court. Another massive clash off the ball there, and another offensive contact on the edge of the circle by Nueli Atia. Deeming to have pushed off Claire Brownlee to gain the advantage. She shook her head and puffed out her cheeks. She was not happy.
Long ball in.
You could see Celia Gibbs, she did not want to give that as she caught the ball. She was pointing directly in front of her as if to say, where is my straight line option? Quickest way for the ball to travel down court is in a straight line. And if you do not have a straight line option, there's a problem. You don't have to use it, but you have to make sure you have one. If you have a straight line option, defenders are going to cover it, and that now opens up the ability for you to use cross court. If you don't have straight line, defenders are sitting cross court, which means when you try and go long and lifted, like she just did there, it's going to get eaten alive, or it has to be the most accurate pass of your life under pressure to make sure that it lands.
Well, the ball then didn't land in the hands of the player who intended. So Gallagher, under 40 seconds coming up then remaining. Scotland trying to put another one onto the board before half-time. And they do. A little bit of vocal encouragement as well from Gail Parata in the last 4 or 5 minutes there. You can just see her on the right of your shot, the long black hair of the head coach of Scotland. Sees her side 8 ahead with 20 seconds remaining. So Samoa, there she is, centre of your shot, still shouting. Can they nail one? Can Samoa put one in? No, it's going to go to the back line. And the clock is ticking down. You got to shoot.
goal.
No goal. 24-16 will be the score as both of these teams therefore go into half-time. It was Scotland that had a 2-goal advantage after the first 15 minutes, leading by 9-7, and they've won that second quarter 15-9 to give them an 8-goal advantage after the first 30 minutes. So, it's been lively, as we expected, but Scotland are leading the way over Samoa. The world number 7s leading the world number 14s, but there's still a long way to go in this match. The third quarter coming up. Well, the centre pass gets underway in the third quarter. A Samoan fan in the crowd has just put up a massive banner saying, "Go Team Samoa." Well, there needs a support to pull this back against the Scottish side. Big support for the Scottish Thistles as they came back on court after half-time. And they're looking to get the first goal. There it is. There's another one as well, if you're wondering.
Another sign or another flag?
Oh no, everything. Flag, signs.
So many fans bringing lots of encouragement for their teams here, which is beautiful to see. We just saw a hoist inside the Samoan defensive end, which is where the goalkeeper or one of the defenders puts their arms around their other defender, rugby line-up style, lifts them up into the air to try and either deflect the shot, make the shooter hold the ball for 3 seconds, or tip the shot on its upward trajectory before it goes into the ring. So really inventive and creative defending there from Samoa. Be interested to see if any of that comes off later on in the game.
And totally legal.
It is totally legal, providing you are within the 3-foot distance, so you don't break that obstruction rule. You don't touch the ball until it comes out of the shooter's hands, and you hit the ball on its upward trajectory. You can't hit it when it's on its downward path, just like basketball. It becomes like a goaltend, not allowed to do that. Lots of rules.
A few of them flashing up as we go through our Netball World Cup matches here for you. Those of you joining us around the world, wherever you are, hoping you're enjoying this first day of action here from Liverpool, here in the north of England.
Beautiful screen inside the shooting circle there. You saw Bethan Goodwin get front position on her goalkeeper. Lindsay Gallagher set up and then drive to the left all the way out of the line of vision to draw that defender, so it opened up a nice easy front option just to pop the ball inside the circle. And we see a lovely turn of speed. Hayley Mulhern coming all the way outside the circle, almost to the transverse line, and going offside to tip that ball. And we see the defensive work pay dividends, because Kelly Boyle ends up coming out with an interception that was a little bit gifted to her, to be honest.
Lovely shooting from the Scottish Thistle. That is Beth Goodwin. Puts another one on the board. 13 from 16 so far today in her World Cup debut.
Obstruction, goal attack.
Lovely, strong, powerful drive to the circle edge from Claire Maxwell. She has got an engine and some lungs to burn, so she will be looking to run and run all the way until that final whistle.
So Samoa looking for space, being held up. Something's dropped on the court. Is it somebody's number? We've got a little bit of dodgy Velcro.
It's a bib.
It's a bib.
I'm all done for the bib that's lying on the floor. So just wait.
Health and safety, can't play with a bib on the floor. Somebody may slip, for the same reason why we have towels on the side of the court, in case there's water, sweat, you name it, has to be cleared off the floor to make sure the safety of the players is paramount. As you can imagine, if they're going so quick, they're going really hard, have to make sure that they are as safe as possible to try and limit the amount of injuries that there are across the court.
So Tanimo looking for space, goes a little bit backwards in terms of making sure she creates some space to get it into the shooting D. And Samoa rewarded, and now up. And pulling one back.
Again, great screen inside the shooting circle from Bethan Goodwin off the ball. She's working Rachel Rasmussen overtime, pinning her nice and early with her body almost to the edge of the circle and holding that right until the last minute to make sure that there is a pocket of space for our feeders to send that ball into. That was really great work, and just as we say that, Scotland get another turnover. Can they push on to blow out this quarter score even more, potentially to 6-2?
Contact, goalkeeper.
Oh, contact call. Oops, there you go. Goodwin giving as good as she gets. And Scotland are leading this one now against Samoa. 30 goals to 18.
Great middle drive from Bethan Goodwin there, but just a little bit of a miscommunication error there. And just as we say that, captain of Samoa, Francis Solia-Gibb, comes round body with outside arm, lovely and clean, and collects it. Great vision from Lisa Gallagher there. We saw Rachel Rasmussen out of circle, hunting to try and win the ball. Was drawn to the top of the circle in the drive by Nicola McCleary, but Lindsay had the vision and sense of mind to be able to look into the circle. Umpire Mike picking up the sound effect from Lindsay Gallagher there. Great outside arm and collected by her teammate. Really, really good work.
So it ended in a Scotland goal after a great turnover by Samoa. Some good defensive play by Samoa. But in the blink of an eye, it was back in Scotland's possession. And another goal put on the board for the Thistles. 31-18. Coming up to 10 minutes remaining of the third quarter. We're down into the 80% now in terms of scoring for Goodwin, Gallagher and Tanamo. Maxwell offside.
There is just a lack of availability of shooting option inside that Samoa circle, though. You see the ball being swung across the circle from mid-court to mid-court and then just being unable to find an option, and then someone comes through with an outside arm outside the circle and manages to gain possession for Scotland. So that's something that Francis Solia will definitely be highlighting to her team as something to adjust going forward, potentially either in this last quarter. Do they have the power to bring off the bench? Do they have another change to make, or is she just going to leave her players out there to try and figure it out themselves? Because sometimes there's a lot to be said for you just not making constant changes, because sometimes it just doesn't help.
Contact, wing defence.
It's one of those issues that all head coaches of all international sides has, isn't it? Early doors, we were talking about this earlier, weren't we, Mickey? Do you go out there and put a massive score on the board and show a signal of intent, or do you use it for combinations? I suppose if you want to use it for combinations because you feel you need to as a head coach, then it's a good opportunity if you're leading a game comfortably.
Yeah, but it just depends on your opinion. I mean, you're at the Vitality Netball World Cup. Is now the time for you to be trying out combinations? Like, by the time you get here, you should know your best 7. You should have an idea of your best 9, which gives you tendencies to make a couple of changes if you need to inject some players. But is this where you should be running your bench just for the sake of it? Depends what the score is. If it's a game that's completely gone and it's blown out by 60, or you're down by whatever, then potentially an opportunity to give people caps or to expose people to the pressure that is this venue. But I mean, this game isn't done. I wouldn't say this game is over. There's still a lot of competitiveness in it. There's still a lot of niggle going on, and there's still that point that we spoke about earlier in terms of people having to earn their bib. You know, you're not just playing for this game, but you've got another game tomorrow. So are you going to start for that? Do you want to, or do you want to be taken off the court? Because now probably isn't the time for you to just run combos.
Maybe it was like Norma Plummer was saying earlier after the South Africa win, it's about the court time potentially more than maybe the combinations in terms of getting her players into the environment.
Yeah, absolutely. Or in this case, protecting your players. Look at this massive clash there between Lindsay Gallagher and Francis Solia-Gibb. Neither of them willing to give an inch. Absolutely putting their bodies on the line.
34-19, Scotland in charge of their first match here at the World Cup. Matoa Tanimo, the goal shooter for Samoa, puts another one in. 15 from 17 so far in this match. Brings it back to 14, the deficit. Claire Maxwell been forced back into the centre third. Nice and wide to McCleary in the wing attack position for Scotland. Maxwell again, always looking. Scotland peppering the shooting D. This is good defence from Samoa.
Yeah, it is.
Really making Scotland work.
Yeah, it is, but you can see a little bit of sort of erraticness coming into the Scotland game, you know. Mid-quarters have stopped sighting their circle. Goal attacks, goal shooters have stopped penetrating the circle. Look, you can see both of them lingering out. Much better from Lindsay Gallagher there, driving the the baseline, which is something that she's got away with doing all game long. You cannot afford to linger in places. This Samoan defence are happy to hunt and run on ball, so you cannot stand and make them think you're not an option, because that just closes down spaces. And equally, if you're a mid-quarter, you have to keep turning fully and sighting your shooters. If you do not look at them, they are not going to continue to drive for you. And you can't just turn and sight each other, because that's not always going to help. So they need to use this next 6 minutes passage of play to regain some structures, try and calm themselves down. Otherwise, as we've just seen there from the attackers in Samoa, they are still hungry to win ball. And again, we see there being super smart with the body control to take ball from Nualiatia there. And she also remembered that rule of having to release the ball before your feet are off of the floor, which is really smart and well controlled from her.
Contact call, goal defence for Scotland. Nicol will stand by.
Just defending off court, wing defence.
So Samoa looking to string it together. Popping in a few goals now with 5.5 minutes remaining until the final quarter. Oh, look at the history. The best World Cup position by Scotland that they've ever finished is sixth, sorry. They've finished sixth 3 times. And the last time they finished sixth was back in 1983. And they're rising up the world rankings, the Scottish Thistles, to 7th. So they're putting themselves in a strong position to potentially make some World Cup history. And Samoa, incidentally, top ever, placing with 6 also back in Jamaica in 2003.
Toa, for me, has come on for Samoa and been really explosive and handy in that goal attack position. She's been really creative and she's played with confidence, and she's happy to sight her shooter and give some lovely, really quick, short balls that defenders just don't think are going. She's catching them with her heads down, and that's really worked for Samoa. So I think that definitely gives Frances Salia a little bit of a headache in terms of her selection going forward.
A real difference in the 2 benches opposite myself and Mickey Austin on the court side here. Some chit-chat for the Samoa bench. Uniform purple colour of the Scotland bench being led vocally mainly by Gail Parata, shouting instructions out to her side. Just see her there on the right of your shot.
Lovely long arcing shot there from Toa, right on cue. And there we are, there we see Gail Parata and Lindsay Gallagher there, ex-Scotland international herself, showing a little bit of her character to the camera, shall we say.
Well, they're in control of this one. I say it with a little long emphasis as I look towards 36-24. But Scotland are doing what they need to do. There's Frances Salia.
That was unlucky by Rachel Rasmussen there. You saw her tip the shot, which was insanely hard to do. But you heard the umpire say that your distance was too short. You were creeping in, which means she was infringing on that obstruction rule. As we know, you have to be 3-foot distance between you and the player that's got the ball. And if you are within that distance, then they're going to pull you for obstruction. And we see a caution being given out there.
Yeah, that was quite a long, reasonably long conversation that was being had by the umpire, making sure, look, I know we're in the 3rd quarter and we're nearing the end of it, but, you know, we've still got a lot of playing time left in this match. Centre pass for Scotland then, Maxwell.
I guess this is where the difficulty is, though, as a player, because if you've been getting away with, for want of a better term, of infringing for 30 minutes of a game or 40 minutes of a game, and then you get a caution for it, it's a little bit hard to understand what it is that you're actually doing, because you've been getting away with it for a little while. So it's definitely something that the Scottish defenders are going to have to make sure that they adjust going forward, because we don't want to see that escalate to a warning or even worse, a suspension, or even worse than that, sending off and making your team see out the game with 6 players. Absolutely not something to want to do.
So a pick up by Scotland in the shooting D of Samoa. Conversations being had between the Samoan players as the ball flies down the court for the Scottish Thistles. 38-25, 2.5 minutes remaining. Gallagher, Lindsay Gallagher pops another one in, the 19th of this match so far. You can see both of the umpires in this match having to shout really loudly as changes happen because of the roar around the M&S Bank Arena here in Liverpool. These two courts very close together, separated probably by about 10 or 11 metres in distance. And we've got England playing on one court with the home fans. The noise is being made. It's being made as well by the Scottish fans here. And our Samoan fan with his board, making as much noise as possible.
Scotland have come here with a fairly big contingent with them, haven't they? And that's really, really great to see. Well, what an experience for the fans to not only get one court of action, but two. It must be brilliant for them.
Right, so a couple of changes made. One change that hasn't been made. Maxwell in the centre position for Scotland. Looking for the space. Back into Goodwin. She's going to be forced back out the shooting circle. Nice bounce pass in, but fumbled and picked up by Samoa.
Nuts. Went straight through Becca Goodwin's legs there.
Celia Gibb. Oh, Claire Maxwell read that one like an absolute book.
And that would be why you often don't see a bounce pass happening through court. It's the hardest pass to try and sight and catch. It's the slowest one of all of the general conventional passes that we see. And as you saw there from Claire Maxwell, being able to run her feet. Oh, and again putting her body on the line to come out with interception. She was lucky to be able to get that and get up straight away and run after the contest. She's going to be feeling this game later on this evening.
Gallagher, and it rattles in. Looks at the umpires like, why are you blowing the whistle? It doesn't matter, it's gone in. Game on.
I think she was more looking at the umpire like, did you see the contact on my hand, even though the shot went in?
60 seconds remaining before the final 15 minutes between Scotland and Samoa. 40 playing 25.
We see new player, Lawamanu, come in at wing attack for Samoa, getting her hands on the ball nice and early. Be interested to see what kind of flair and vision she can bring to this game. Unlucky Hayley Mohan coming out of the contact ball there just as she manages to tip ball.
The clock ticks down, the steps taken forward. And another little one as well. And it gets netted. So the final few seconds.
We spoke about this earlier, didn't we? Are these players time aware? It's one of the biggest coach killers that you could ever imagine. Clocks running down. Are every single one of your players linked into how much longer there is on the clock? Do you shooters know, therefore they know that they have to put up the shot quickly? Just like Bethan Goodwin did there.
Oh, she did indeed, and straight away Claire Maxwell's asking the umpires, okay, what's there's a little bit of clarification here. And it's 41-26. That's what the third quarter is going to end at, with Scotland extending their lead by 15 goals over Samoa. And the Samoan side have got 15 minutes more action before they play Uganda tomorrow. And Scotland face England, but first, 15 more minutes left of this match. And you can see in your shot there, the Scottish flags are flying. And we're probably going to have a few changes as myself and Mickey Austin scan the court to see if Gail Parata and Frances Salia has made any changes. And I think she has, and Emma Barry is making her senior debut. For Scotland.
She is the 6th tallest player in the competition and the 2nd youngest player in the competition as well. And the only lady who trumps her at being younger is on the opposing team, wearing the wing attack bib in Latu Manu. So congratulations to both of them. What an achievement at the ripe old age of 17. Oh my gosh, what's happened there? It's an obstacle course.
Sorry, miss, I lost the ball.
It's like an obstacle course.
Picked up and put back in play, though, of course, by Gallagher. So yes, the two youngest players in the Netball World Cup on court. They have been on court. Barry and Lawamanu, 17 years old. World Cup debut for the teenagers. 42-26.
I think we see a new shooter in Samoa as well. In Salanoa, come in onto the court, matching scrunchy and all to the rest of her teammates.
Goalkeeper contact with the knee.
T Salanoa, and in the goal shooter position now for Samoa. There she is.
Where you are.
Love those scrunchies.
And she's young as well. It's her 20th birthday next week.
Oh, doesn't it make you feel old?
Her World Cup debut, obviously. She wasn't here at 14.
That would have been an achievement if she was, that's for sure.
Or 15, excuse me.
Great front cut across the top of the circle there. You can see her saying to her teammate, just place it over. She was being ridden all the way around that circle edge by none other, of course, who else than Claire Maxwell, who is still happy to scrap away for her team. Arms up in the air, everything, trying to draw the umpire's eye to contact.
Talk about a lot of support in the arena for the Scottish side. They've been getting social media support as well, left, right and centre, the Scottish Thistles. Nicola Sturgeon, the First Minister of Scotland, tweeted her support this morning for her team, starting their campaign today. So I'm sure she's watching on somewhere. There's your quarter-by-quarter stats as well. That 2-goal win in quarter-1 by the Scotland side was stretched out to 6 in quarter-2 and 7, which is what they won quarter-3 by.
That was fantastic screen there inside the circle from the new Samoan goal shooter in Salanoa. She used her body so smartly, pinning Hayley Mulhern all the way behind her across both shoulders so that she was really easy and able to present inside that shooting circle. That's positive for Samoa. That's what Francis Salia is going to want to see a little bit more of going forward. And again, a fantastic pass and cut transition from Toa at goal attack. I feel like I sound like her biggest fan, but she's really impressed me today when she's come on. Speed to burn, lots of flair.
Go shooter. Yep.
Another contact to add to their tally, as if this game hasn't been physical enough.
Yep, Scotland up to 34 in penalty contacts. Samoa now on 36.
Nicola McClary not being able to find her new shooting partner in Emma Barry there. She may be the 6th tallest shooter in the competition, but even that ball was too tall for her to get on the end of. But pressure from the Scottish attacking end gets a footwork call on Rachel Rasmussen, which she doesn't agree with, to say the least, and Scotland get the ball back nice and close to their shooting circle. Lovely pass and cut from Lindsay Gallagher there. And just to elaborate on that footwork rule, netball has a rule where if you catch the ball, you have to ground 1-2, and as soon as your landing foot touches the floor, you are allowed to pick it up again, but you have to release the ball before you re-ground it. And you have to be really quick to do that all in one motion, and it can be done, as we've seen many a time in this competition, but Rachel Rasmussen was not quick enough there.
So, poor bounce pass by Samoa, being forced backwards, looking to...
My heart is in my mouth every time they bounce past the ball through court. As a coach, I'm like, don't do that.
I love a bounce pass, Lee.
Not through court. It's so hard to catch. You can't judge the speed. It doesn't come up high enough for you to catch it normally, and you end up like fumbling around, and it puts you just under so much pressure.
The towel's coming back on, clean up the court.
Goal shooter.
When I play at a very low level of netball, I just use it because I've nothing else I can do.
Hey, I've seen you play netball, and I coached you not long ago playing netball, and I know that you make a cracking wing attack. And I cannot wait to see those arms of yours come out all over the court, left, right and centre. You know I'll be cheering for you.
Maybe one day.
I'd sign you.
Well, Scotland, Boyle, Nicol. And all the way across court to Maxwell.
Again, we see that lack of straight line option for Scotland, having to go all the way cross court, and shock horror. It's as if I know a little bit about what I'm talking about in terms of netball. No straight line option, and ultimately we end up coming out with a 3-second call. So you cannot hold the ball in netball for longer than 3 seconds. You must have an option, release the ball within that 3-second time frame, and if you don't, then it will be an infringement. That was fantastic work from Hayley Mulhern there. Missed the opportunity to come out of the intercept outside the circle, but she had the sense of mind to be able to scrap the ball around the edge and pick off the ball to her mid-quarter. Lovely finish from Emma Barry. She will be feeling much more confident now that she is sitting on 100% on 3 out of 3. Good job to her.
Yep. World Cup debut, senior Scottish debut. And another one popped in for 17-year-old Emma Barry. As you said, 100% so far, doing the job that Gail Parata has put her on court in this quarter 4 to do. We've got 9 minutes remaining. And Let's have a look at another interception. 5 so far for Scotland in this match.
You could see her, though, just putting her toe inside that circle, Kelly Boyle, although had she had a really clean outside arm, as we know, unless you've got a G on your bib, you are not allowed to set foot inside the circle. So, unfortunately, Boyle just infringing there, which gives Samoa the opportunity to put a goal away. And umpire is making sure that the penalty is absolutely set so that the ball can go through the net.
So coming up to 8 minutes remaining. Barry.
That's obstruction, goalkeeper.
As you heard, obstruction is called. And one is popped in.
All right.
Super stuff.
Whole time. Goalkeeper.
Stratified sirens. The UK Super League side. I mentioned all but one of the squad here for Scotland are from them, and a big applause, quite rightly so, for Hayley Mulheron. As Mickey Austin said, the 9th most capped player in the World Cup, 115th cap today. She holds her right shoulder. She'll make sure she looks after that.
And we see Lauren Tate come onto the court for Scotland, working her feet nice and early and tracking the movement of Samoan goal shooter. Clearly happy to give as much physicality as Hayley Mulheron was inside that circle, and I'm sure willing and wanting to make an impression. We see a contact call outside the circle, giving Scotland another chance of possession, flying through court. Great take from Emma Barry, and a really, really smart split land there.
One step forward. Yeah.
Sorry?
Contact goal defense.
So potential another change may be coming up. Both the head coaches looking with nearly 7 minutes remaining. A couple more changes to be made to the Scottish Thistle side. Yes, indeed.
You see Kelly Boyle leaving the court, and a new wing defence entering the court with a big smile on her face in Sarah McPhail. And we see another goal shooter enter the game. Niamh McCall uses her body very well, does Niamh. Very accurate. We're looking forward to introduce her into the game. That means that Scotland have almost run out their whole bench, almost, not quite.
Advance stretching goal defence.
Getting close to what Norma Plummer did on the previous match here on court 2 for South Africa. She ran out all of her players in their first match with that win over Trinidad and Tobago. Scotland looking to run this one out with 6.5 minutes remaining, leading by 20 over Samoa. Tomorrow Scotland will go on to play England, who won against Uganda, and then they'll play Uganda. Scotland will on Sunday, which means Samoa will play Uganda tomorrow. Maxwell picks herself off the court for about the 10th time.
Yeah, that is definitely worth a replay. You saw Rachel Rasmussen flying out of the circle there to try and win ball off of Claire Maxwell as she tried and caught that ball. Umpire deeming that not to be a contact, that to be Rachel Rasmussen's ball, and because Claire Maxwell, did not agree with the call and dissented towards the umpire, she got given a caution. Really important. So in netball, you are not allowed to give any kind of gesture, whether that be a look, an action, wording towards the umpire at all, and you're also not allowed to delay play in any way, and that's what the umpire deemed. I think because Claire took a while to pick herself up the floor, the umpire said she was delaying the play, not enabling Samoa to get on with the play quickly, and that's what she got her caution for there.
So a good crowd have stayed to see the end of this match here on the first day of action. Scotland and Samoa, 48-29.
That was a really good take from the Samoan goal shooter there in Salanoa. You saw her a second ago just fumble one of the balls off the back line. She was really, really furious with herself because she obviously feels that she could do better. So that was fantastic to take that ball under pressure, and she slots away another goal to add to her tally of 3 out of 4 at 75%.
So it's been a good run out by both of these sides, acclimatising to the 2019 Netball World Cup. Good space by McCleary.
Contact goal defense.
Yeah, goal defence. Clearly, Celia Gibb, the captain, called for contact.
By both players.
Me?
Off the body, on the body.
See, this is really smart instruction from the umpire in Kemp there. You know, she's not giving out a caution, but she's telling both of the defenders, I can see what you're doing, please clean it up. You know, umpires at the end of the day, they don't want to give out these cautions, they don't want to give out these sanctions. They're invariably there to control the game, but ultimately they don't really want players to notice them, that they just want to go about their business and control the game for the safety of the players. And to be fair, I think both umpires have done that incredibly well tonight. And, you know, she gave really clear instructions, both defenders, you know, make sure you tidy up and you come off the body. So giving them the opportunity to stop what they're doing before it escalates to that point.
Careful the ball.
Yep, South Africa and Singapore being represented. With Anne-Sue Kemp and
Whole time,
Janjani
goalkeeper, just sit on the
Giuliani.
set, yeah. Yep.
That penalty
Goalkeeper,
count
10
is
out of
just
play,
creeping
yeah.
up and up and up, almost identical. 42 for Scotland and 43 for Samoa. That is pretty high.
So what would a standard or average norm be
I
in an international match?
At this stage, preliminary, if we're looking at a final, even that would probably be too high, because it means that you've got a player standing out. It means you're down to 6, and that's absolutely not what you want. If you want to win games, you want to turn over ball, you have to have all 7 of you in play at a time. So that shows a little bit of ill discipline, but probably reflective of both sides in this game. It's been really scrappy. It's been very goal for goal. Great vision there, long ball.
Scotland!
From centre in Nuali Atia. Clearly, maybe she's just feeling a little bit tired and doesn't want to run anymore. And I don't blame her for that. It's been a tough game out there.
It has been a tough game, but you talk about the setup domestically for both of these sides. You mentioned the Scottish Sisters, of course, one of the 10 teams in the UK Super League. Samoa?
Yeah, exactly, and I guess that ends up paying dividends to the latter stages of this game. You know, we saw it with South Africa. A lot of their players are competing in domestic leagues across the world, whether that be in the UK or whether that be in New Zealand or Australia or even in their own home country of South Africa. You don't really see that in Trinidad and Tobago. You've only got a couple of them that compete in these leagues, so they don't get this regular amount of match play, 60 minutes, let alone the contest and the body on body. So invariably, I think that's the way that Scotland have been able to pull away with this game. You know, they're used to the physicality, they're fit enough, they're robust enough because they play 60 minutes worth of netball week in, week out in the UK League. And I think that's just shown through in this game, to be honest.
So 2.5 minutes remaining. Gail Parata on the verge of her first win at this Netball World Cup before that match tomorrow. The UK Island rivals.
Is Claire on the floor again? I feel like that's happened before.
But you know what, though? From that very first hit she got in the face, she still hasn't batted an eyelid.
Do you know what? And I vouch for that.
Yeah.
Claire is a great competitor, as I've said before. She's happy to put her body on the line for her team, but she is a player that just understands that's part and parcel of the game. She doesn't react. I say that having her got a caution from the umpire, but for delaying, not for dissent. She just goes about her business, happy to get on with it. She gives as good as she gets, which means she understands the contest. That's a fantastic long shot there from Emma Barry. That's right on the edge, probably, of her shooting range. She'll feel really confident in that, and that takes her shooting stats up to 8 out of 9. So really, really positive signs for the youngster.
Samoa hold up the yellow 90-second sign there. You see it on the left of your shot, telling the players that there's a minute and a half, less than now, remaining in this first match. Frances Celia, the head coach, said it's an opportunity she couldn't turn down when she was offered to be the head coach of the Samoan team. And right to the end, not surprisingly, just a little bit of what we call in England, a little bit of
sporting argy-bargy. Do you think Claire Maxwell wants to win this game? Because, I mean, look at her there, putting her body on the line, driving her feet all the way to get that ball. And then straight after that, she was happy to get right in front of Rachel Rasmussen to try and keep her outside the circle. But, I mean, Rachel Rasmussen was having absolutely enough of it, actually just pushed her to the side to be like, nope, here I am, I'm getting inside that circle. And Samoa come out with a turnover. Let's see if they're time aware and they're able to take this through to score a goal before this quarter ends.
Goalkeeper!
So support for both sides. And good support.
Whole time. Wing defence. That was contact outside the circle.
And you can hear contact outside the circle with less than 30 seconds remaining.
She's really well to control her feet there and not do footwork. Really good court awareness. And Teo scores to bring her shooting attempts up to 8 out of 10. And as I say, has been one of the standout substitutions for this game for me. Great athleticism from the goal shooter from Samoa Salanoa, and it'll be good for them if they can top this game off with a goal.
The crowd count back here at the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool. And Scotland, in their first match, the fans are happy because they win out 53 goals to 33 against Samoa. Exactly what coach Gail Parata would have wanted. A big smile from the goal shooter for Scotland. Emma Barry making her first senior cap in a World Cup debut. The 17-year-old did well. Claire Maxwell, the captain of the Scottish side, performed wonderfully well. And Samoa, well, they came and took on the Scottish outfit, but ultimately lost 53 goals to 33. So the usual lovely to see sporting huddle from Scotland and Samoa. We really were, myself and Mickey Austin, looking forward to this one. Both teams had risen in the INF World Rankings coming into this World Cup here in Liverpool, but we knew both of the sides were going to be fired up and ready. And it started off well for the Scottish outfit. Samoa battling, they only lost the first quarter, those first 15 minutes by 2 goals. The Scottish outfit led 9-7 after the first quarter, but then Scotland stretched out their lead. Some good shooting by the Scottish Thistles. Had them 24-16 at half-time, then stretched it out 40 goals to 26. A lot of whistle, a lot of stops in play, a very physical encounter in this first match for both Scotland and Samoa. Some changes were made by both coaches, in particular by Gail Parata, bringing on the youth, bringing on her youngster. And both the youngest players in the Netball World Cup got on court for Scotland and Samoa. And it's the Scottish side that won out 53 goals to 33. And Scotland play England tomorrow and Samoa play Uganda. But a good opening match. Entertaining first match for Scotland and Samoa. So that was a glimpse of some of the highlights of the hour action between Scotland and Samoa. Let's look at some statistics. Mickey Austin, we talked a lot about the penalties, a lot about the contacts. It ended 46 apiece for both sides. But what do these stats tell us outside of those penalty contacts?
Yeah, it did, and almost when you're on the exact same number, it kind of null and voids each other. Ultimately, the skill of the Scottish players saw them through that game, the ability to rise above, you know, give and go around it, use their strength of body, use the pace on the ball. They had ample amount of shooting attempts at 62, which was almost 20 more than Samoa, and at the end of the day, the more opportunities you get, the better chance you're going to be able to give your team the best chance of winning.
So in total there at the bottom, penalties 62 and 60, because that combines the penalties for both contact and obstruction from both of the sides. So confirmation then, results of day one here in Liverpool on court number 1. A win for New Zealand, Australia, Jamaica and England have started their campaigns as you would expect the top ranked teams in the world to do. A good day of action on court 1. So, player of the match, Hannah Wilkes is catching up with who we've decided.
Well, Claire Maxwell, an absolutely phenomenal performance out there from you on court today. You really put your body on the line. That was a physical game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a real physical game, but we expect nothing kind of less in this competition. It's a pinnacle of our sport, so we're really excited to get the win and progress from here.
It was always going to be a very testy game, wasn't it, this one against Samoa? It was a match they were really targeting to take quite close. What did you learn out there, and what are you going to be improving on before we play England tomorrow?
Yeah, we're a little bit nervous going into it because they aren't on unorthodox side, and they're a team that's come together and they've brought some really good experienced players into their side. So we're just really delighted that we kind of grinded it out. Our first quarter wasn't the prettiest, but we built into the game, and that last kind of couple of quarters, that's what we'll be looking to take into England game.
After a game as intense as that, how are you going to regroup, recover and prepare in time for England?
It's a quick turnaround, so we'll be straight in ice baths, get some stretches on the go, and then just a good night's sleep, debrief, look what we can improve on, but also what we did well and what we can celebrate.
The Scotland team are one of the only ones in the competition that play together regularly, of course, all playing in the Strathclyde Sirens team. How much do you think that's going to benefit you, and how much did it benefit you on court tonight? Yeah,
we're extremely grateful and proud to be playing domestically and internationally together. We're a really close-knit team, and they're our second family, and I think the connections on court really showed at times when it was tough out there physically.
Well, we'll let you go get called off and get ready for tomorrow. Thanks, Claire.
Thank you very much.
So good leading for Scotland by captain Claire Maxwell, player of the match here. And here's the results then of day one, court two. Wins for Barbados, Zimbabwe, South Africa and Scotland. So the 16 teams at this Netball World Cup are all up and running. So we've heard from the captain of the winning side, Claire Maxwell, saying she's very happy with her team's performance. But let's now go back to Hannah with Scotland's head coach.
Well, Gail Parata, you've got your first win in the World Cup, but you had to fight for it quite literally on court, didn't you?
We did, and I'm delighted to get the win. Bit of a messy start from us, but that was probably nerves and just our first match and our first hit out. So yeah, it was physical, but we expected that.
There was just the 2 goals in it after the first quarter. What was your message to the girls, and how did you sort of turn that around and get them gelling?
I just, sticking to our processes and structures as most teams probably do, and going back to the game plan, which I thought we struggled to execute in the first quarter. So yeah, just going back to basics.
It was quite a high penalty count for both sides, 62 against your Scottish Thistles. Vital to clean that up, isn't it, going further in this competition?
Oh, definitely, and didn't realise that was the stats for the penalties, because we were trying to make sure that we don't get high penalty counts. But yeah, I thought also that they challenged some good ball in there, and some of them were in my opinion half, maybe not a penalty. So anyways, but that's how it goes, and we just have to stick with that and make sure that we do tidy up.
England tomorrow, a big game. England against Scotland in a World Cup is always a big match. There's that rivalry as well. How are you preparing for that? What's the game plan going to be against the Roses?
Well, it's definitely a different game plan. I mean, we know how strong England are, and we know what we can do, and we've just got to try and execute a game plan that suits our style of netball. And, we are excited to play the England Roses again, and we're looking forward to it.
A lot's been made coming into the competition that your team is quite young. Obviously, you've got 3 very experienced heads on court, led by Claire Maxwell brilliantly. Is there any concern, or so far do you feel that your young players are dealing with the pressure and the setup of a World Cup quite well?
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. They'll be fine. They've been under pressure longer than this were before in the Super League. They've felt the pressure in there, so I'm sure they'll be fine.
Well, we wish you the very best of luck tomorrow against England. Thanks very much, Gail.
Thank you very much.
And if we just bring in Francis Solia, the head coach of the Samoan team. Francis, that was a tough game out there. How did you feel that your side performed overall?
I think on a positive, we've got to get some of the bench players on, and that's really good for us. And also, we had a few of the girls on court that's their first World Cup, and I thought they did really well. And Scotland's a very experienced and very fit team, so yeah, I am really proud of our girls.
It was a very, very physical contest. You were so close to them in the first quarter, just 2 goals in it. Do you think that the fitness of the Scotland team got the better of you?
No, I think we're also fit too. I just think maybe the experience of the Scotland team was better, but definitely not fitness. Our team has worked really hard over the 17 months to get fit, so that's not the reason why we didn't come away with the win.
It's Uganda tomorrow. They also were quite physical out on court against England today. After that performance, are we likely to see more of those contest calls, and how are you going to prepare for the Ugandan side?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll be expecting physical game, and World Cup is physical. If you haven't played it, then it is a shock to the system. But I would imagine it would be another really quite physical contest with Uganda. Our girls are really strong and physical, likewise with Uganda. So, we'll just see who can be the most level-headed.
Thanks very much. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.